So good evening, everyone, and this is the midweek Flagler Weather Update. This is Flagler Weather Info. Today is the 3rd of December, 2025, and we're going to be talking about the weather for the next several days. There are some changes coming. We have some outdoor events coming up this weekend. We have a parade in Flagler Beach. We have a parade in Town Center. Is it going to rain on your parade? We will talk about that. Is there a potential for storms? We're going to talk about that. And is there a cold snap coming next week? We are going to talk about that. So, a current look at our satellite imagery. You can see things are fairly settled across the area. Some high cloud blowing in, and but things are going to be changing. So let's take a look at our weather map here. This is for today. We'd have a cold front, the one that kind of gave us a little cool snap we got going right now. That is to the south. That's over southern Florida, or SoFlo as it's known. And it's going to stall down there. And you see the snow and everything well off to our north. Now, as we get to Thursday, look at this. A low pressure system begins to take shape in the Gulf of Mexico. And that begins to lift this front back off to the north. And then as that front kind of lingers across the state of Florida, and we get to Friday, low pressure system tracks from the Gulf crossing North Florida and into the Atlantic Ocean. And this front's just going to kind of hang out here as we go into the weekend, kind of wobble around a little bit before eventually pushing off to the south late Saturday and into Sunday. Exactly how fast that happens and where it happens is going to drive our weather over the weekend. I know, we got First Friday going on Friday night. Then we've got a parade and, Santa Claus jumping out of the airplane in Flagler Beach Saturday afternoon. And then we have the Starlight Parade going on in Town Center Saturday night. So my advice is if you're going to any one of those events, do stay up to date on the weather. You might want to bring a rain jacket or an umbrella with you. So let's take a look at some detail here. So taking a look at, first off, the probability of any freezes or anything like that. And we're looking at all of that staying well off to the west of us here. So but the possibility of thunderstorms, there is a very limited chance of that on Saturday and the Saturday night. That includes Flagler County, and that will continue into Sunday. Now, the risk of any real heavy rain, that kind of thing, that is right now expected to stay off to our north. But even if we get into Saturday, the heaviest rain should stay off to our north. But it doesn't mean we won't get a little bit of rain here. Keep in mind that this forecast will change and evolve as we get closer to the weekend. So let's get into more detail here. So let's talk about rainfall chances. So for today, tonight, we stay dry. When we start getting into Friday, that's when those rain chances start to come up. So Friday night, maybe about a 20% chance of the odd shower, chiefly really late. So right now, first Friday looks okay, unless things pick up and increase further. But right now, first Friday's looking okay. Now, as we get into Saturday, now we're looking at about a 50% chance of showers, maybe a thunderstorm, pretty much county-wide. A little bit better chances inland, lesser chances beaches. The best information we have on the forecast right now is this will trend more later in the day. So will we get the Flagler Beach Parade in before it starts raining? Hard to call right now, but at this point, the guidance is telling us that maybe we can get that squeezed in before the weather starts to close in. Starlight Parade is a different story. We may be dealing with some showers at that point. Again, this far out, it's still impossible to figure out exactly where the rain showers are going to be because they can be very localized. It can be raining like on the north end of the county, but dry here. And you know how it is here in Florida. So let's go look at Saturday night. So Saturday night now we're looking at rain chances increasing to about 60% chance across the entire county. Again, looking at the guidance right now, the better chances of that are after midnight. So maybe starlight can get in too before we start getting some of that heavier rainfall in here, or at least more persistent rain. So, but that's, and again, 60% chance does not mean it's going to rain the entire night. It just means that at some point there's a good chance that you're going to see a rain shower or maybe a couple showers in the period of those overnight hours. So will starlight get in without getting rained on? Too early to call right now, but maybe because, again, looking at the forecast, the better chances of rain are in those late night hours. Now, that translates into Sunday, and you can see here that Sunday, those rain chances are pretty high, about 80% across the county. So, that, again, that tells me that the better rain chances are going to be more during those late night hours, early morning hours, and into the day on Sunday. Keep in mind this forecast can change, but right now maybe we can get these events in before the bulk of this weather gets in here. How much rain we're going to get, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So once we get past Sunday, then those rain chances begin to decrease. Sunday night we're down to about 20%, 30%, and then we maybe about a 20% chance on Monday, and then as we get into early next week into Tuesday, then we dry out. How much rain are we going to get? So let's talk about that now. Rainfall amounts. This is a good guide too. So right now, we'll look as we get into, let's say this takes us into Saturday at the 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So this gives us some guidance here too. So right now, at least through Saturday 1 o'clock, we're staying dry in the county. So maybe, with luck, we can get the Flagler Beach Parade in without getting rained on. But those rain precipitation amounts are starting to come up. So let's go to 4 days. This takes us into Sunday afternoon, maybe up to a half inch of rain. That's not really that much as far as around here is concerned. So we're not looking at any real heavy rainfall amounts. With that being said, some localized heavy rain is possible if we get a few thunderstorms kicking up. And those thunderstorms, there's a chance of that. So if we go through the rest of the week, 7-day rainfalls, looking at half inch to 1 inch of rain countywide. Again, some locally heavier amounts will be possible during this time frame. So especially from Saturday into Sunday, that's when some of those heavier rainfall amounts could occur. And again, this forecast is evolving. The heavier amounts of rainfall that are currently are expected. Let's back up to that a little bit and take a closer look. So the heaviest amount of rain is expected right now to be up in Georgia, based on this information that we have. So 2 to 4 inches of rain widely expected up in southeast Georgia. Now, again, if this is the current forecast as things stand, this can change. So these amounts and everything can be adjusted as the forecast gets fine-tuned. So let's move further along. Let's talk about how things will be looking with our temperatures. So how's the weather going to be looking that way? So as we go through the rest of the week, tonight low temperatures largely right around that 50-degree mark. So kind of a chilly evening tonight, maybe some upper 40s inland. But then Thursday, we're going to rebound up into near 70 degrees. So things will warm up on Thursday. And as we get into Friday, we're getting up to near 80 now. So again, first Friday's not looking too bad right now as far as weather is concerned at this point in time. That can change, but that's the way it looks right now. Saturday looks like we're going to peak in the 70s, maybe mid-70s. And again, maybe we can at least keep most of the rain away until later in the day. And then as we get into Saturday night, Sunday morning, looking at temperatures to bottom out in the 60s. Again, those rain chances will continue to increase Saturday night into Sunday morning. And again, I'm thinking right now the bulk of the rain is going to be during those late night and early morning hours based on the guidance I'm seeing right now. And then as we go further into the future, by Monday, we're down into the 60s again as that front passes by. And then as we get into Tuesday morning, lows down in the upper 40s. And then as we get into Tuesday, high temperatures mid-60s. And then Tuesday night, look for temperatures to be bottoming out in the mid-40s. So, but what's it going to do beyond that? Well, we'll get to that in just a moment. Let's take a quick look at how dry things are at the moment. So any rain we can get, we're going to need. So drought indexes are in the 300s in our part of Florida. Generally, when you start getting above 450 up to 500 is when you really start getting into trouble. So again, though, please use caution with any ignition source outside because things are indeed drying out. So let's take a look at our long-range forecast. This takes us all the way through the month of December. So on the average, we can expect temperatures to be above normal for the month of December, and precipitation chances maybe a little bit below normal for the month of December. But let's break things down. So let's look at a closer in long-range forecast. This takes us to December 9th to December 13th. This gets us into the second part of next week. And we are looking at widely temperatures being below normal across the entire area. So that's definitely a cool snap coming our way. Not a really bad one, but a cool snap. Precipitation looks to be right about near normal to maybe a little bit below normal. As we go further into the future, look for, as we get into the middle part of December, looking for temperatures to be averaging about normal for this time of year when we get to the middle part of December. And then precipitation also about normal as well. So, folks, that's going to wrap things up. Again, we'll be keeping an eye on things as we get closer to the weekend. The forecast can shift, but right now it looks like the bulk of the rain, whatever we are going to get, looks to be late Saturday into Sunday. Again, if you're just joining us, you can rewind this video to get the latest information or watch for our YouTube link, which we'll be sharing in a few minutes. Everybody out there, have a great evening. Have a great rest of the week. We'll likely be doing another update over the weekend.